Zack Snyder declared war on James Gunn's DCU, and it was a shot heard around the world. It shocked people more than Hassan Piker's dog after getting punished for merely existing. Or in this case, a caption with a photo declaring Henry Cavill is Superman. All while members of his coalition were calling for more. Joe Manganiello, the actor for Deathstroke, called for the Snyderverse to be restored just a few days ago. James Gunn has finally responded to the war that has ensued. This is after years of subtle back and forths between the two directors, and quickly you should know this context. In February 2002, James Gunn once said, "In the Suicide Squad, you got guys wearing yellow costumes and all this stuff. I decided to go for what it would really be like. Treating these people like gods is like, what? I have a hard time imagining a guy who's really serious and wants revenge making a costume for himself and putting black around his eyes so his skin doesn't show when you look him in the face. He's got the mask on and also the eye makeup under it. There's a silliness to it that I can't deny." Many saw this as an attack on Zack Snyder and Matt Reeves. In a 2002 podcast, Gunn described Peacemaker's tone as grounded but fun, contrasting it with grimdark epics that take themselves too seriously. This seemed like a direct contrast or dig towards Snyder's tone. In 2023, Gunn responded to fan pressure on X saying, "I respect Zack's work, but the DCU is a fresh start. We're building something new, not rehashing." Another instance was referencing two moments that appeared in Zack Snyder's movies, coincidentally or not. "I don't need to see pearls in a black alley when Batman's parents are killed. I don't need to see the radioactive spider biting Spider-Man. I don't need to see Baby Cal coming from Krypton in a little baby rocket." Zack Snyder's alleged digs isn't a different style. He praised Matt Reeves' The Batman, but had deliberate silence about James Gunn's Superman even after confirming he saw it. In a more direct fashion, however, Zack Snyder aired frustration over the cancellation of the DCEU without naming it specifically. This was while promoting Rebel Moon, which ironically may never finish. "I love telling complete stories. Some franchises feel like they restart every few years without closure." Then of course you have the Rick and Morty Zack Snyder vs. James Gunn crossover. While it was playful and the two took a photo together afterwards, they confirmed they contributed dialogue to the scene to the point they had to cut it down. Some wonder why both sides had so much ammo. But remember, despite being rivals, they managed to have an uneasy friendship, allegedly. Gunn claimed in early 2024, Zack Snyder was very supportive of the DCU. Gunn said he even consulted with him when deciding if Superman would wear trunks or not. Weirdly enough, they once worked together back in the days of 2004. They worked on the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Zack Snyder directed and James Gunn wrote it. This was 20 years ago and things can change. But James Gunn finally responded to the escalation in the rivalry by taking the high road. He was asked about Darkseid being a potential overarching villain for the DCU, to which James Gunn responded, "Aspects of Darkseid and Thanos are very similar. They look very similar, and because of that, to give you more of an answer than you expected, using Darkseid as the big bad is not necessarily the thing. For a lot of reasons. Zack Snyder did it so cool in his way and because of Thanos and Marvel." This is a major de-escalation at a time of uncertainty for Warner Bros. Discovery. No question this was the smarter move to make. Being petty and responding could have led to an all-out fandom war, and it would have been anyone's guess what new management would think of and who is to blame. In my opinion, the battle is not over. I think Zack Snyder and his audience is looking at the most likely imminent sale of Warner Bros. Discovery as a last chance for the Snyderverse to either be restored or finished as an Elseworlds story. Let me know what you think about this feud, the future of the DC universe, and whether or not you want to see the Snyderverse either restored or finish as an Elseworlds story.